Hello and good morning. My name is Amber DeAngelis, and I am a business and technology librarian at the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center at the Boston Public Library. I wanted to welcome you all to the first in a series of 5 episodes of Coffee with Kablick. So today is, let's just talk a little bit what we're going to do today. So here's our agenda, sort of what we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to talk about what Kablick actually is. So for some folks in the Commonwealth or across the city, if you don't know what the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center does, I'm going to give an overview of that. How I'm hoping this YouTube community thing will sort of work. Things might change as we go through this series of 5 episodes. And I also want to see your coffee cups. I thought it would be fun to just see what folks are drinking at home. So this is my coffee today. I have an iced coffee, not a hot coffee. It's hot out, so, you know. And then today's topics. Resources to help you work from home, and also some career help resources as well. So this is a couple of things that we're going to talk about. Each episode is going to have a theme, and today's theme is work from anywhere. So let's begin a little bit. So what is the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center? The Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center is a space devoted to folks who have a particular passion project that they are trying to follow. So that could be a creative project you're trying to get off the ground, such as a podcast, or maybe even a live stream. And there's also, if you want to start your own business, we have plenty of resources for that. We also have resources for folks who want to learn investing, or who are looking to just research an industry for their employer. So we run the gamut of helping folks either start their own business, make and build their own client list, and then follow their projects. So how I kind of want this YouTube thing to work is, typically I would be sitting at a reference desk right now on Monday morning, and folks would come in and ask me questions, and I'd be able to help them. Unfortunately, can't really do that right now. So me and my colleagues are sort of testing out different ways of engaging with the public. And so I thought this would be a fun way to engage with folks on Monday morning. So the format of this might change from day to day. On our next episode, which is July 6th, depending on the feedback we get, we might add extra segments or remove segments, depending on what makes sense. But I hope that you all participate and share your coffee cups using the Coffee with Kablick hashtag. I didn't go to Dunkin' this morning. This just happens to be the mug I have. I love iced coffee. So without further ado, let's begin. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the joblessness that's happening and highlight some resources that you can use at the Boston Public Library. So I'm just going to pop open a browser window so you can see. So if you go to the Boston Public Library website, which is www.bpl.org, we have a bunch of career resources available for folks to use. The first one I'm actually just going to show you is our Job Seekers Guide. And you can find this by going under Books and More and Online Resources. And while that loads, oops, sorry, I always do that. Books and More and Research Guides. You can tell I'm a little, I haven't been at the desk for a little while. And so underneath careers, we have this Job Seekers Guide. And this Job Seekers Guide is available 24/7 with advice and resources for you to sort of sharpen your resume, look for jobs, find career advice, and whatnot. So I did want to bring up a couple of points. So recently, the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development released this press release. It's a little thick, but essentially what the meat of this says is that there is a 16.3% unemployment rate in Massachusetts, or 16.2. And this just gives like a breakdown of the sectors where folks are losing jobs. So in particular, and as you've seen in the news, sort of leisure and hospitality, that's a big one, especially here in Boston. So if you're in those particular job categories, you might want to, freshen up your resume or look for opportunities. Although I was looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, and what's really interesting is that jobs are coming back to those sectors as the economy slowly reopens. So it's really interesting to see. So if you're looking for a job, we do have this job seekers guide. And I also would like to point out that we do have some events coming up that you might want to take advantage of. If you go to the Boston Public Library website, and if you're on any page, there should be this red toolbar up at the top, and you can click on events. And what's really cool is that once this loads, you can actually sort by the kind of event you're looking for. We've been providing events all along, but, you can sort by career development. And you can see the types of events that pop up. So tomorrow, my colleague at Cableic is hosting a job seekers virtual group drop-in. And she sort of alternates every other week with classes. Last week was about cover letters, and that'll be on our Facebook page. But next week is resume writing tips and tricks. And then we have cover letters coming up on July 21st. And again, you can find this by going to events, and you can select the career development in the left-hand sidebar here. So that's cool that we have those events for folks who are struggling to get back to work, especially since there's been a number of folks who have been temporarily underemployed because workspaces have been closed, or maybe folks were hit hard in a particular industry. I brought up leisure before, and maybe looking to transition fields. This would be a good opportunity just to get some new skills. So what's interesting is I've been reading up about folks going back to work. And so John Chesto from the Globe wrote this article recently. And I've been seeing articles like this sort of all around the web. But essentially what's going to happen is many offices around the country, and indeed in Boston, folks aren't going back. So the changing nature of work in the United States means that most folks will be working remotely. In the before times, a lot of folks who worked remotely used to come to the library to do the prep work and do some work and calls and meetings. Unfortunately, because of the spread of COVID, we cannot open. So that means more folks are going to be working from home. And that has some psychological effects on folks who weren't necessarily prepped for that. There are folks who just did fine. They were able to transition pretty quickly. And for those folks who were able to keep their jobs, that was great news. But for some, and I know for me, though, the transfer to working from home was a little bit difficult. And I found that having sort of a meditation practice has been helpful to me, sort of establishing a routine and getting into the feel of just being like calm and with myself. So what's actually really cool is I'd like to point out this pretty innovative partnership that the Boston Public Library has with Headspace. Headspace is a really cool resource. If you're not familiar with it, it is a meditation app, and BPL users can sign up for an account, a slot each month, and you can have the full license of Headspace. And actually, I'm signed in here, and I'm taking the managing anxiety one. It's helpful to go through the basics one first, but I find it really helpful. And the other course I took was actually this one called Cultivating Patience, or Managing Impatience. And I think when you're fussing with technology, trying to figure out the best way to communicate with your colleagues and work in such an asynchronous manner, managing anxiety and even cultivating that patience is helpful, and being able to bring that to that space. So this is a really cool partnership. I believe it's just the BPL. The first library that did this was the Santa Clara Public Library. So it's really cool. So I encourage you folks, if you don't have a library card, to sign up for one. So switch back. So in my rehearsal, I kept forgetting to switch sources. So another thing that I wanted to focus on today was just talking a little bit about any questions that folks might have. I highlighted one particular resource, which was the Headspace and also the Job Seekers Guide. But we also have a number of other resources that are really helpful, especially if you're trying to work from home or even just keep up in the news. Sometimes the news, you'll sort of bump into a paywall, but we have a couple of resources that you can access. In particular, if you are trying to access content for real-time decision making. In particular, we have one that's really cool, and I'm going to show you. It's the New York Times Current Edition, and essentially you can apply for a 72-hour license through the Boston Public Library to read news as it's coming out currently. It's actually really cool. And then there are also resources where you can get the Globe and some financial newspapers as well. So we'll go over that a little bit right now. So if we are on our online resources, I'm actually going to go, I'm going to switch tabs. Or actually, how I got to this page, I'll just scroll up so you can see. Back to top. So if you go to books and more and online resources, you can get to this page. You can get to this page by clicking the A to Z list of resources. So again, it's books and more and online resources. And you can use this particular page, but I like using this blue tab right here. So I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. My throat's getting dry. Oh, man. And for example, I'm going to go to the New York Times. New York Times Current Edition. We have 3 editions. And this is really cool because you can get the up-to-date stuff on New York Times, and you can access this with your e-card online. And so when I click on this, I put in my library card and PIN. And what's really nice is, like, now that you've activated your pass, you can enjoy access until this time, 72 hours from now. So I'm just going to hit get started. And I created an account. It just asks you to put in an email. And I'm just going to hit no thanks. Maybe later. Take me to reading. So here's the full New York Times page, and that's with no paywall on some of the content. And a paywall essentially is some articles that have been locked behind. You've seen it where it says log in to subscribe. Not that I don't want to encourage folks to pay for print journalism. It's important. But if you don't have the means, this is a great alternative. And you can get access to the content as it's updated, which is really cool. And this is the full New York Times website. And I have access to this for the next 72 hours. We have a limited number of licenses, but if you need to re-up your license, you can do that. But with the limited number that we have, it might take a little bit. But we have full access to all the content on the New York Times website. Okay, so another big paper that you probably want to get access to is also the Boston Globe. And so the Boston Globe right here, we have the historical one, but then we also have this 1980 to present, which is really helpful. Although it's not as nice as the New York Times one. It's essentially what you would see when you were searching a database. So it's literally just the text. A lot of the interactive features that you would see. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's see if that's just, I might have to just refresh the page. Let's see. I have to put in my, let me put in my library card and pin again. Technology, right? Don't save. All right. We seem to have encountered a problem. So, let's see. Oh no, don't freeze. My computer's being funny right now. Okay. So, why are you being mean? I'm just going to go click on the proxy server again. Sorry, guys. I think I had set these tabs up before, and now it's just being funny. So, just a note. When you're accessing these things, you're going through our website. And that's why you need our library card and pin. So I'm just going to hit COVID-19. And you can do a search for any articles that are related to, say, COVID-19, or you can see all the updated stuff. So here's something from sports. You know, we can see BC sets football workouts. And here's a bunch of stuff basically from this morning. And if we were to look at this particular article, you'll see that it's basically just the text. So this is a great way to get content if you need it, and you can make the business decisions that you need to make and keep up to date. So that's one thing. And then I'm checking my notes. Yes. So occasionally you'll also want to access some financial newspapers as well. Let me just check to make sure I'm in the right source. Great. So if you're in the online resources page, I'm just going to go back to the top. And remember, we got here from the going to books and more and online resources, and I click that blue button on that page. There's some helpful links over here, and I can do that again at the end. And I can do that at the end, but we'll do resources, e-journals by title. So e-journals by title, throat's getting dry. So I'm going to type in something like, oh, I want the Financial Times. Yes, the pink paper, which we still subscribe to when we get in print as well. And we also get it through databases. Now, what's cool is you can search for a particular database periodical using this eJournals by title. And I really like this. I find it a little bit easier than the catalog. That's just me personally, but you can also search Financial Times in the catalog on our main website. But this takes me right to the database where it's linked. And so I want the most current. And this is something I want to show you. So occasionally you might see this, and it's not readily apparent what this is. But occasionally publishers will say, we don't want the current week, day, month, in this case, to be released in a database. So it's only available as like sort of indexed, like you can find the citation for the article, but you won't be able to find the full text. So that can be sort of frustrating a little bit, but you're still able to get pretty current content, except you'd be getting stuff from May 22nd instead. But it is the full paper. So if I'm going to pop into the May 20th one, and you'll be able to see sort of what this looks like. And you can actually do a full text search in this particular database, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to click on this EasyJet thing, and you'll see I can get just the text, and I can download this. And if I'm logged in with my Google Drive or my Office 365 account, I can save this directly to the cloud, which is really nice. So you can view it later. And you can also email this, but I find saving it to the cloud pretty helpful, or your desktop. And you can access this content here. So I'm just going to click off of that. And the same. Now, we get a lot of questions about the Wall Street Journal. I'm going to type this in, but unfortunately, we don't have access to the Wall Street Journal. We had print access at the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center, as well as at some branches. But unfortunately, right now, we don't have online access, which is a shame. So I don't have an update for you on that, but it is something we are looking into. So I also have one of my colleagues poking me over here. So if you're wondering why I'm looking to the side, it's just folks asking questions or just giving me little hints in case I forget something. So, because, it's weird and I'm talking to my computer by myself. It is what it is. The coffee's good. So let's see. Headspace. So, all right. So, just going to pop over here just to remind folks that, oops, wrong one. I'm just going to go and see if folks have tweeted their coffee cups. I'm just curious. You can tweet with Coffee with Kablick hashtag. I was hoping that some people would do it before. And if you have any questions, oh, yay! Nice. This is my colleague. So that's exciting. Thank you very much for tweeting your coffee cup. Cheers. So, all right. Do we have any questions? I'm just asking my colleagues here and seeing if we have any questions either via Twitter or via YouTube. Just going to pop in. All right. So let's see. Doo. Well, thank you, Tina. I also like drinking from coffee at my own home. Oh, sorry, Tina. Thank you to my colleagues who mentioned that. So there is a 72-hour limit. I'm just going to repeat that again. The license is available after your 72-hour limits. This is for the New York Times thing. Let me switch back here. The limit is for the New York Times is when you sign up, you get a 72-hour pass. After that 72-hour pass is done, you can reapply for another one, which is pretty helpful. And let's see. Let's see. Good morning. Someone said good morning. Good to see you all. Thanks for coming today. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's see. And, oops, let me pull that up. And I'm going to transition back to the browser. So another thing I want to point out actually on this events page is you can actually find Kirstein specific events. So if you're looking for anything about financial literacy, investing, creative software. I also teach a lot of the classes on like 3D printing and stuff. We're on hold right now with the 3D printing just because it's difficult to get into the building. And some design courses as well. And a couple of those are posted on Facebook Live. But if you go to the events tab on our main webpage and you want to see what we have going on, you can go. And where is it? If we show more right here, you can see all the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center classes. And so right now we have our event. And actually what's really cool is, if you're looking for a particular skill building opportunity, let's see. I have a question about the lab and equipment. Let me take a step back. So I mentioned earlier that the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center, the Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center helps folks produce podcast, vlog style videos, as well as any other creative projects or collateral. So part of the Innovation Center has 8 Macs, which have the full Adobe Creative Cloud. Right now, they're not accessible because the building is not open to the public. And we also have an InnoLab that's a bookable space, but again, because of the safety concerns, that space is not open. But that space is bookable for up to 3 hours, 3 times a week. So I hope that answered your question. Let me go and make sure. Oops. Let me actually go here so I can see this. So, and in terms of when the actual lab is going to open, we don't have a date. The best advice I can give you is actually just contacting the Boston Public Library, or not contacting the Boston Public Library, visiting the Boston Public Library website to find all the updates, so that you can see when the services are available. So you can actually, we want to go here, and let me switch back. You can actually go to the Boston Public Library website. And if you're wondering how to, what branches are open and what locations are open. Like today, there are 5 locations that are open. You can go to visit on the main webpage, and you can click on branch libraries to see the branch openings and closings, or central library. So you can go and see. So East Boston is open today, and you can see the changes specifically. Hey. And you can see the specific services that are available by going to that location page. So if the central library is open, you can also visit our section of the website as well, just to see updates. So if you go to services and entrepreneurs, this is where you'll find us, and you'll be able to see updates probably on this page about our service updates to our service offerings. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Any other questions? I realized I mentioned that you can get a library card, and let me explain how. For folks who live in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, everyone's eligible for a Boston Public Library card. And if you wanted to get one of those, you can go to Books and More. Oh, sorry, not Books and More. Where is it hiding? Services. And you can click on e-cards. You can register for an online card, and you can sign up today using that link right there. And what you can do is you can get access to all our databases, ebooks, and streaming media, which is really exciting. And all you'd have to do is fill out this form over on this side over here. If you want a physical card, you can actually convert it later, but follow the instructions of the folks at the branch when you do that. You're able to place a physical hold on using your e-card, and just follow the branch guidelines when they are talking to you about transferring your card over to a physical card to borrow physical items such as books and DVDs. Let's see. I'm going to check if we have another question. Bouncing between all of these windows is a little fun. So Tina has a question. Let's see. About borrowing from other libraries. So this is a big thing. And we are trying our best to help you fulfill a request. So in terms of borrowing from other libraries in the system, you'll be able to get books from the system, but delivered to the 5 locations that are open right now. So let's say I want to borrow a book, and it's at the Brighton branch, and I want it delivered to Central. I can have that book transferred to the Central Library. If I wanted to, say, borrow something from the Commonwealth catalog, that's not possible. So I'm just going to go to Books and More. And, oh, nope, it's under Services. I'm sorry, I keep, and where is it? It should say borrowing from other libraries. It might not be on here right now. Oh, it is under Books and More. My bad. So under Books and More, if you click on borrowing from other libraries, this is what folks mean by borrowing from other institutions. And so our catalog, we used to have a partnership with all the libraries in Massachusetts called the Commonwealth Catalog. That is currently suspended. As libraries become more online, they'll be able to fill requests, but watch our website for updates on this. In terms of borrowing from other libraries around the world, we are still able to do this, but in a limited capacity. We are only doing article requests. So if you are looking for a specific article, let's say you need something from the Financial Times from the last 30 days, you can definitely use the citation and fill out a request using Iliad here. You would sign in with your library card number and PIN, and our staff will help you try to and fill your request for an article. We're not sending physical items through interlibrary loan again. So hopefully that answered your question. Let's see, let's go back. All right. Oh, let's see. While we're waiting for other questions, I'll explain the whole pickups situation. So I'm just going to go back to the main web page. Let's say that you are expecting a hold and you've been notified. You're going to get notified one of two ways. The first way, if your default is by email, you will get an email saying that your item is on hold at a branch. And there will be a link in that email that you can use to schedule a hold pickup. And this is the actual link right here. And this page will update as more branches come online. But what you would do is you would click on the location where your hold pickup is located. Again, don't do this until you're notified, because if your item isn't there, scheduling a pickup's not going to do you any good. But what you would do is you would click on that, and looks like all available dates are chosen, but I can check this off, and let's say I want to pick it up at 12:30 tomorrow at Central Library. I can submit my time, and I encourage you all to read the instructions here. Please, if you can, wear a face mask that covers the nose and mouth. You are going to get your temperature checked. And if there is a line, please practice social distancing when you're in the line. There are no other in-person services available at the library at this time, and there are no restrooms available. So sorry about that. Let's see. But you would confirm, and you would fill out the form with your name and email address. And it's helpful if you put a phone number in there too, just so folks at the branch can get a hold of you. And you only need to place the request once if you have multiple items that are available for pickup. Normally we keep things for 7 days on the shelf, but we're being a little bit more relaxed. But in case you have any questions about that, you can always email ask@bpl.org, or you can call the main number at 617-536-5400. Let's see. I'm going to check if there's any more questions. Okay. All right. And I'm going to see if any more people tweeted their coffee cups. Or any questions on Twitter. Oh. So just the one, but that's okay. I'm hoping that if folks tweet me their coffee cups throughout the week, I can feature them on the next week's or the next episode's slideshow. So it'll be kind of fun just to see what folks are drinking. So if you have a particular kind of coffee you like, I like iced coffee, and that coffee looks like hot chocolate, and it looks really cozy. Let's see. And it looks like there's a couple more questions on YouTube. All right. Let's see. Is the business news written down somewhere so I can remember? Let's see. There will be a blog post. There will be a blog post with some of the links to some of this stuff that will be available or that I spoke about today. I don't know if that answers your question, Tina. But I can go over that again just really quickly. I keep opening the wrong browser tab. So if you want business news, I have too many tabs open. Well, note for next time. We'll go back here. If you want to access any of the business news, what you can do is you can go to Services. It's under Books and More. I keep doing that. Books and More and Online Resources. And if you want to access any business news, I like going to this page. You can look at some of these by formats, magazines, and journals. But I find it helpful if you're looking for a specific trade periodical by going to this A to Z resources page. And then going to this e-journals by title. But in the blog post, I will write up the instructions for how to get to this. And just to show, let's say we want a trade magazine. So we'll do automotive news. Oops. Did I spell that right? Nope, I did not. Helps if you spell right. Automotive news. There we go. So you can get business periodicals and trade periodicals here, and this will open in a database directly to the actual periodical, which is a weekly periodical. All right, that's an example there. You can do that Financial Times, Economist, whatever, what have you. And if I check here, we'll go back. There was another question. Let's see. What kind of programs do you have for small business owners? Let's see. All right. So what kind of programs do we have for small business owners? Actually, that's a really great question. So we have a partnership with SCORE, which is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. And what they do is they provide mentorship to folks. And you can sign up for an online mentorship or over-the-phone mentorship with one of those folks to get free business mentoring and advice. And they have a whole slew of workshops that they do for us and just in general. And so you can go, again, if we go to the Boston Public Library website and we click on events, you can search for stuff specifically for small business. So for example, small business. Nothing right now, apparently. But if we go back to the events page, it's a little slow. Let's see. You'll see that we have, just looking at a note from my colleague, you'll see that we have a bunch of stuff just under our tag for Kirstein Business Library and Innovation Center. So we have a couple of partnerships with the Center for Women in Enterprise as well, and they will do workshops. And we will also have, let's see, just going through investing for your future. So it looks like we have a lot more stuff about personal finance coming up, but this calendar changes all the time. But but we are having some online virtual business drop-ins that my colleagues are doing. So similar to what I'm doing, but I don't believe they're streaming it live, but it's more boutique. So whereas I am being a little bit more general, they will answer your specific questions and help you with specific queries that you have about starting a small business. And they can help you find industry reports and all that jazz. We also have a partnership with Better Business Bureau as well. And it's not updating. We also have some other programming that we are hopefully doing with Babson on financial literacy. So that's exciting coming up. But always check our events. You'll be surprised. The other thing I was going to mention earlier, and I forgot to point out, is actually we have this nice little relationship with General Assembly. They provide some free classes for us. And so also this is a coupon that you can get for one of their like actual paid classes. So we have a couple right now, one for email marketing essentials, and I believe there's another for people management skills. And so there's a limited number of seats for those where you can sign up for a coupon to get a free General Assembly class. So this is something that we worked out with General Assembly. And then they also have free classes that they offer to the public through the Boston Public Library. And this is going to be an introduction into data science. And if there's something that I've just noticed now is data is very important about making decisions, especially in the wake of the COVID pandemic. Having some toolkits to help you either make the smart business decisions you need to make for your budding small business or to help you land another job. This is a great opportunity for you to do that. Let's see, checking there. Let me see if there are any other questions because we are nearing the end of our hour. And I have a couple of things I want to mention towards the end. Let's see. Yes. And thank you to my colleague for posting the links in the live chat. I really appreciate it. So let's see. Are there any other questions? Minimize. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, EC. I almost forgot a program offering that we have. We do have a partnership with Goodwin, and you can find that on our calendar as well. And if you email us, actually, let me show you this press release, and maybe I can send it to my colleagues and they can post it in the chat. Oops, let me grab this. So I'm just going to go to the Boston Public Library website and take another sip of my coffee. If you go under, where is it? If you go under About and click on News, there's actually a really nice press release that was made recently, updated. And it explains a lot of the services that we have. I almost forgot about this. And this has everything. And so to answer your question, Tina, this is where you can find some of the other things that we do as well. So here's this. I'm just going to pop this in the chat so you guys have access to it. And I'm just going to paste this plain text, that ugly URL right there. This outlines everything that we have. I can't believe I forgot about that press release. Whoops. You can see if you want to find a mentor, if you want the small business legal consultation, email us here. What's cool about the small business legal consultation in particular is if you're looking to sign an NDA, for example, for a new job, or if you're looking to purchase or buy a lease on a building. Let's say you're trying to start a new business, although that might be a little difficult now, leasing property. Although from what I've read, there's a lot of office space available now as companies start foregoing having a physical presence. But you can send an email to this email right here. And we also have the resume, cover letter, and job search assistance, and you can email ask@bpl.org, and we at our department will be able to schedule that for you. We also, if you don't have access to email or computer, we have a phone number that you can call, and you can leave us a voicemail, and we can try to schedule with you. And we do business research assistance every day. You can email us directly at that email. And also my colleagues will be having those drop-ins. I think the first one is either later this week or next week. And you can check on the events calendar. And this explains a little bit more about General Assembly. Yes, every Thursday through August 22nd, patrons can meet virtually with staff to get help using the library's electronic resources. So this is a really great opportunity for folks who have specific questions. And you can read a little bit more about some of our services on this page. So this is actually a really good page to know about. I'm going to check the chat one more time, and then we're going to wrap up because it looks like we're almost at the top of the half hour, I guess. I keep going to the wrong tab. Yes. So if you have any other questions about our services that we offer at the Boston Public Library, or specifically at the Kirstein Business Library, you have a couple of options. So you can actually just call us or email us at ask@bpl.org, or you can call the main phone number at 617-536-5400. So you'll be able to either book an appointment with us by emailing ask, or be able to talk or leave a voicemail for us so we can get back to you. And we do help with business research, investing research as well. And if you have questions about some technology things as related to streaming or whatnot, you can send them our way too. I'll be the one answering. Also, this is pretty sick, right? This is me flexing a little bit, having a little fun with this. I feel like I'm in, remember those 90s when you wake up in the middle of the night and it was someone selling audio cassettes. It was Time Life or something. This is what this reminds me of. You have to have a little fun, otherwise things will get a little stale. So I'm just going to check if there are any more questions, and then I will sign off. So thank you to my colleagues for supporting me in the chat. I really appreciate it. And I want to send a big thank you out to the folks who are helping fill holds today. Please be patient with us as we adjust to this new service. We're happy to bring borrowing physical items back to folks, and please just thank the staff member and please follow their instructions. We're really excited to have folks borrowing our materials again. And if you have any other questions about the services that we have here at the Kirstein Business Library in particular, you can tweet at us with the Coffee with Kablik hashtag, or you can email ask@bpl.org. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, the format might change a little bit as we move forward through the next couple of weeks. I would like to mention next week's topic, or not next week's topic, July 26th topic is going to be specifically about finding resources or finding small businesses. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of resources about that and some cool tools that you can use from home to generate lists of suppliers and whatnot. So I hope that you join me. And if you have any questions, I hope to feature them at the beginning, and tweet me your coffee cups. I love people's mugs, honestly. And I'm excited to see some of the novelty mugs that folks have. So, and don't worry if you don't drink coffee, tea is acceptable. Hot chocolate too. So we don't judge here. We're free to all. Thank you so much for participating today. And let me just do one last check on Twitter. Doop. Nope. Oh, well. Well, anyway, guys, I really am thankful that you guys tuned in and asked so many great questions. I hope to see you all on July 6th at 10:30. So thank you so much. Have a great afternoon and a great week. Be safe, everybody.